hit Shanghai, we all came back to Hong Kong on the last boat. And then there's only 3 berths left. The captain called Battle Mission, want to know anybody want to go to Hong Kong. My older sister Helen, Pearl, and me, 3 of them. Hurry up, pack everything, and jump on the boat, and then we went to Hong Kong. After we reached Hong Kong, my older sister came to the United States. Now, my brother already here since 1932. He came over here to the seminary in Chicago. And my father and mother busy in Kowloon City. At that time, there is a school in another district where my uncle has a church. And so my uncle and auntie take care of me. I stayed there and I went to Yinghua school. In Hong Kong, it's a British system. Everything is English. I don't know what's going on. During physical ed, you line up in the ball fields. The first guy will say 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And then I don't know English. So come to new meter, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. The first year I was the dumbest. In the class of 30, I was down the bottom. But anyway, I caught up pretty soon, and then the second year I was a little smarter. And then of course the problem is Hong Kong, major problem is malaria. And I come down with malaria at the quit school. That year, my father is pastor and helping church, and then my mother, she helping another church into the new territory. There's a school there and as well as church, so she went there to help that church out. So I stayed there about a year until I get rid of this malaria before I went back to Hong Kong. I can't go back to school because I've been jumping around, got sick, and my age is older than everybody else in the same class. So I went to Hong Kong Radio College, which is a trade school. Oh, that was 42. And after a few days of schooling, the principal, which is also the owner of this repair shop in the school, he just gave me free room and board, free education, and I worked in the shop. That turned out to be the best thing that God planned my life, because from then on I have that background. And then eventually the war started. Just in Hong Kong, we already December 8th. We were living in the middle of the mountain, a hillside on the Kowloon side. And they first hit Hong Kong Island. And then after Hong Kong Island fall, and then they turned their concentration on to the Kowloon side, because some of the British troops leaving through the Kowloon to China side. So therefore the bombing and the shooting from the warship will be from Hong Kong side, shooting at the harbor, shooting to Kowloon where we live. And then we can hear the shell whistling through the top of our house. When we go to bed, we always hide behind the wall in case they hit somewhere in front of our house. There's no resistance to their invasion, so it's settled real quick. And by Christmas, it's all over. And then the Japanese occupy Hong Kong, and we're under their control now. The Japanese military government tell us, we come here to help you people to get away from the British. They want to be friends with us, so help us in all kind of ways. Like you heard about all the terror thing in Shanghai and especially Nanking. They're killing people just indiscriminately. But they don't do that in Hong Kong. The Japanese treat the Chinese in Hong Kong much better than in anywhere else. So after the fighting stopped, the so-called public government took over, and then they start having school, Japanese language school. That's where my father come in. How did my father learn Japanese? He was serving in a church of holiness in Canton, and they have a seminary in Tokyo. So my parents, just newlywed, would be 1909 or 1910. And the church sent them to Tokyo. My mother went there with my father. After 1 year, she was so homesick, so she left my father there and came back first. And then, of course, the next year, father came back also. And then my brother was born in 1911. And then they have Japanese language school. So my father opened one too, right? Because I was helping him prepare the lessons. And you don't have mimeograph or anything, so you just have to handwrite it. And for the student, like the alphabet or whatever, the basic things. So my sister and I copy all these sheets after sheet. And I learned something from him about some simple conversation. Japan occupied Hong Kong, let's say, end of 1941. But within that 8 months, I was with my parents in Hong Kong. And how to survive, partly from the tuition he collected from the student, partly from my mother and I grow vegetables around the house. So every market day, I carry the vegetable down to town, down to the city, and sell it, and then get the money to buy the meat. So that's how we survived for a while. We live in the middle of halfway on the mountain. That's where the dairy farm, and I carry the milk to town and sell it too. See, I have certain customers that every day I have to deliver so many bottles of milk. But then one of the problem is the food supply. Hong Kong is a very small island. There's not much land for production of food. In fact, we don't even have water at that time. In order to alleviate that problem, the Japanese military government was encouraging the Chinese to leave. So by 1942, July and August is getting a critical condition. So I follow the Bethel Mission Seminary in Hong Kong. So we got on a Japanese boat, and on the boat a couple of days, and then we landed up near the south island side of the end of the Kwang Tung province. And there's a little island, but the Japanese boat, they won't want to come near the island, so they stay in the middle of the ocean and have the Chinese government send a sampan little boat to pick us up. So therefore I follow with the Bethel Mission Seminary student and the teachers. We all get on these little boats and land up on land. This first land is called Sui Kai. The day I reached Sui Kai after leaving Hong Kong, that was my 17th birthday, September 2nd, 1942. And then from there on, the government of China set up this refugee reception station all the way to Chongqing. Yeah, but of course, that's a very far distance. Every day you can walk about 15 miles, 20 miles. So they set up a station every so often, every distance, then you can stop there at night time. And then they give you, the government give you a certain amount of money for buying food. And the next day you go on your journey. So this way we travel for about 2 weeks or so. So fortunately, Bethel Mission already arranged with this blind school in Guixian. That's about 150 miles from where we landed. But not only because of no transportation, but the road already cut off into sections. So the government cut it off so to avoid the Japanese invasion from that point into China. So therefore we have to walk, and walking is not that easy because it's cut up like that, so you walk up and down, up and down. And then unfortunately on top of that, I was sick after walking 2 days. I was come down with a high fever, and then I can't walk anymore. And then that forced the Bethel Seminary to hire those chairs, those coolie chair. So I sat on a coolie chair for a few days until I can walk again. And also, unfortunately, thing is, while I was sick on the chair, I cannot run after my own luggage. So each coolie will carry 2 packages, one for me and one for another person, and so on. So this coolie took the advantages that he said, "Oh, how come that guy not following me anymore?" So he took off without luggage, and I don't have any more clothing when I reached my destination. And so finally we reached this blind school, which is also a church. The Bethel Seminary re-established schools in that church as well, using the facilities. It's come up perfect because this blind school, they already retreated, so they left this place empty for us. So now what happened is the seminary started, but what do? I was 17, I'm not a seminary student. I should be in high school or somewhere, but there's no school. So I was helping in the compound, whatever I can do at that age. But very fortunately, Reverend Andrew G. came by about October 1st, 1942, and on his way to Isan and travel. He's a traveling evangelist, so goes from city to city. So I talked to him whether he can help me find a job somewhere in a bigger city. So very fortunate that he said he's going to Isan, which is a big city, and also the headquarters engineering depot of Qiangui Railroad Engineer depots in that city. And then I said, okay, you take me over there and see I can find any job or not. So we got on the river boat, and then now we can rest. So now I continue my journey with refugee to Isan Qiangui Railroad Engineer Depot. In order to get a job, he knows somebody there. Railroad engineer company, there's all kind of departments. This department only concerned with keeping track of the engine, how many miles it runs each day, and how much supply of coal and water. In fact, my job is the lowest grade. called long labor. That means your job is just doing anything labor people tell you to do. This head of the department looked at me, I'm so skinny and so small. He said, no, you cannot go out there sweeping or haul the trash and so on. He said, why don't you just stay in the office? So, in fact, I got an office job. To me, it's great. I sit in the office, I have my desk, and in fact, I have a tea cup like everybody else. And this another long labor. Every hour come fill your cup with tea. So I was doing great. And then what my job is keeping track of the engine. The engine, of course, all have numbers, and all the classification. And then I just, whatever the report come in, I just file it every day, how many miles, how much coal, how many tons, how much water, and so on. That's my job. It's great to me. And then I become a very good friend of another person. And then one day he said, John, you know anything about telephone system? Now remember, this is wartime. All the important thing is in the mountain cave. And then we climbed the rock step all the way to this cave. And that's where the communication equipment is. And then I say, is there a diagram? Well, I learned all these things from radio college. So he get the blueprint and line it up and say, you understand this? So I even explained to him what happened. From the time you pick up the telephone, so he said, oh my, you got a job. So I had to come back and tell my boss where I was long labor, right? I say, sorry, I'm getting another job. He said, where else can you get another job like that, sitting in the office? I said, no, in the electrical engineering department, they need me. He said, what did that? So I explained to him and said, oh, good, go ahead. So now I was technician. I got to live with a single bachelor compound. It's a beautiful 3-story big building. I have my own room, private room. Not only that, there's a servant. Company hire a servant. Every day come sweep your place, fix your bed, and pick up the thing. You finish washing, just throw it behind the door. They pick it up, washing, bring it back to you. And I have this company mess hall. See, I go to mess hall. So I have no worry whatsoever. So that was a big job. It was a good job. And I learned a lot about this automatic system. The war's going on because the Japanese come bomb the area. So every time they detect a plane coming, they will sound the alarm, sound a wailing alarm, and everybody come up to my cave. But then all these good things cannot last too long. War come again to Kwangsai. Now it's 44 October. Japanese hit Isan, and so therefore you can see they already coming not only from the south but from the other coastline too, into Isan area. So this is the third time I flee the Japanese. Now this is the worst time in my life, this time. First thing, I'm responsible for taking care of the communication equipment. So I spent almost over a week without sleeping. I had to take everything down, mark it down, put it in a box. And then we put this compartment, all this equipment into a box car. a big boxcar divided in half. One half is in all my communication equipment. The other half is all the printing press, okay? The railroad printing, the ticket printing, and all the printing, all the books and whatnot, need printing, those machines and that. So this is most important boxcar. So everybody fleeing asked him to allow me to put a box here and put something, and somebody was oh, I have so many pounds of rice I can't carry with me, can you take care of it? Okay, put it, shove it anywhere you can find place. So this car is all full, and then whatever space I have, I will make my bed. And then for eating, every place you stop, you try to find something to eat. But pretty soon, no more shop. Everybody already flee. Every city you go to empty. Okay, until one place, the whole boxcar is stored because the army wants to retreat. So they took all the train, all the engine to carry them to retreat to Chongqing. Okay? So now my boxcar is sitting on a side rail. Okay, what do we do with all the rice in my compartment? So every day we will take whatever we can carry, go to the market and sell it. And if that bag belongs to so-and-so, we will mark it down. The idea is, if this boxcar someday did go all the way to Huiyang, that's our destination, and tell them, okay, we finally had to sell your rice because we thought they were going to destroy this boxcar, so we sell it, here's your money. And then if they did destroy the boxcar without going over, then we keep money. I agree to that too. So I keep my list. So sure enough, one day come down and show us, Lee, hurry, the Japanese coming. So we just, okay, just lock the door and carry my money. You know how I have a long socks. I put the money in the socks, tie it all up, both. It's pretty heavy, even though paper money, right? So we left, and left in a hurry. But no matter how hurried, we are too late. Because after a little bit, but without realizing, the Japanese army, on the horse, they are on the highway. They already come near us, near the sunset. We heard the gunshots, and then we run like crazy. Now imagine there are already thousands of people on the highway running, as well as thousands of people following the railroad track. So wherever the railroad track is straighter than the highway, everybody will be on the railroad. So I was on the railroad. So when the cavalry come near, I was just on top of the trestle, and all of a sudden, blah, 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 and I know we're in danger. So I start running real fast. And then the sun is already kind of down. I keep running. And because as soon as you hear some noise back there, you keep running. Because you don't know whether they continue following you or not. So, as well as thousands of people, refugees, running. So finally, the noise was kind of stopped. Then we kind of slowed down. And then I looked at my feet, I said, how come my feet's hurting? I run so fast, my socks, my shoes all fly away. And I was wearing a barefoot and bleeding like crazy. So I opened my little rattan basket and took out my underwear and tear it into pieces and wrap the foot up and continue running. So happened, there are one group, there are a couple of people, I know them. But this particular guy, I know him very well. And then he caught up with me. And then he also have a problem. His foot also like mine. So I take the rest of my t-shirt or one of the shirt, I say, wrap yours up before you continue. Okay? Oh, he was grateful because he was running so late, he didn't carry anything. And then very fortunately, that group, he was the last one to leave. They already agreed, say, well, we will meet you at certain place. After I wrap him up, and then we continue walking. And then that was beginning to get dark. After a little while, he said, oh, my companions will be in this building. Okay? I look for them. Okay? So I followed him to find them, and they were cooking their dinner. They cooking their dinner, and then he has his share. So he took that portion and split it with me. So that took care of my first meal. He stayed with that group from then on, but I go on my own way. See, I just keep walking. Every morning you wake up, you start running until you cannot see, you stop. Wherever you can find on the roadside, you lie down, and that's the end of the day. Okay. Sometimes you don't have anything to eat at all. Okay. Now we're on the highway, because in this section particularly the highway is much straighter. So the refugees, most of them are following the highway now, but it's a very smooth. Okay, very smooth. You can walk very easily. One place I went to, and then on my left side there's a big factory. Okay, and then there's a water tower on top. And then I see a lot of people climbing up and down to the water tower. So I was curious. I also went to the water tower to find out what's going on. And then everybody come down with a bag or something and climbing down. I said, what is it? They said, rice up there. I said, rice? Wow. So I climb up there too. And then climb up there, you jump into this water tower. Actually, it's full of rice. A lot of people there try to shove the rice into any bag they can find. I have no bag, so I took off my pants. So I tied the leg and then I fill the rice into each leg and put that over my shoulder and climb back down. So every time I go, if somebody eating something, I would ask them, can I share with you? You give me some food to eat, I give you some rice. So that was a good bargain. So I always get somebody to give me something in exchange. Every day is routine. You just keep walking. There's miles and miles to go further before you can reach the closest. Is Guiyang, city of Guiyang. It's a pretty big city. I never been there, but the company destination is they will regroup in that city, so that is where we're going. The Japanese caught up with us, somehow behind us, because all of a sudden we hear the whistling, the bomb, the shell across our head, all the way to the front, exploding in front of us. Right? So everybody scattered away from the highway. So, of course, that place, I never been there, so you don't know where to run. You just follow whichever crowd you think you want to follow them. So, one guy said, you guys follow me. I've been traveling this back and forth. I know where I can go around the mountain to go to the other side. So I follow him, maybe 20, 30 of us follow him running. Now, we have no food. Leaving the railroad or leaving the highway, the majority, sometimes you can, like I say, you can see somebody cooking something, you can exchange. Now there's nothing, okay, for a couple of days, nothing. Now, this is one of the things that my father gave me when I left Hong Kong, 1942, October. He gave me 2 canned food. One is canned beef and hash, and the other one is like Spam, something similar, with a key I can open. So now, after a couple of days running with this group of 20, 30 people, I getting so hungry. And then I said, okay, this is time probably I should open that can to eat before I die of starvation. So I let myself go behind the crowd, get farther and farther, so I can open the can and eat. And I can eat half and save the other half for tomorrow. So this way, in fact, lasts me a couple of days until we get back to the main highway. After a couple of days without hearing any more shelling. When I come to one place with thousands of refugees, there in front of me is a river. At that time, remember that's December now. And then I remember very cold. Instead of follow the big crowd in a whole bunch, I said, well, I don't want people fall on me. So I go away from the crowd. And that was fortunate, very fortunate, because as soon as I crossed, there's a lady there with a daughter about 12 years old. And then I look at her, she looked at me. We recognize each other. The reason I remember her is one time my boss and her husband had a meeting in her house, and my boss needs some document, asked me to go to the office to pick it up and deliver to the house. So I went to the house and delivered this document, and then I saw her. So I look at her, I right away remember her. I say, oh, you're so-and-so. And I say, what's the matter? Because she was crying. So the daughter told me what happened. They crossed the river and turned around, can't find the boy, thinking that the boy is following them, but can't find it. And that's why she's crying. They don't know what to do. So I said, wait. I told the little girl that you found it because I don't know your little brother. And I said, we better go back to the other side. And after a little while, then she recognized the crying voice of her little brother. And then she found him. And then a lady was holding her hand, just ready to cross the river. I approached her. I said, lady, wait. I said, this is her little brother. She said, no, I want to keep the boy. I said, no, don't do that. I said, and we took him back to the mother, and everybody's so happy. And then I said, where's your husband? So she said, oh, she quit the job in Kingsway Railroad and working in the Southwest Trucking Engineering or Trucking Manufacturer Company. Father had near Quay Young. So I said, okay, we go together. I take care of you. Yeah. So now I have a whole family as a companion. And I helping them to find food. Every place we come to, I see a house I will venture into, and hopefully I will discover something. And then most of the houses are burned, so you go in anyway, you look for. And then one time I did find some dry shrimp in a little cup, and that was a great discovery. The rest of the time is every day just wake up and keep going, and when you're tired and sundown, and then you just find a place to rest. Sometimes you find an old broken house, sometimes you just sleep outside. That was December 5th. Until December 20, we did reach this trucking manufacturer at about 4 miles outside of the city of Quay Young. The whole area all locked down, and then she found her way to get into the place, and then found her husband. So they were united, and then I was stay there, and then for a few days. And during my running, because there's no water. So one time I did venture out to the field, rice field. You look in the water thinking that looked pretty clean. See, so I scoop up a couple handful and drink it, and then disaster come. See, I have this diarrhea every day, no matter what I eat. Nighttime, just middle of the night, it's just the stomach turn around, and you rush outside, no matter how cold and how dark it is. After a few days, the situation didn't improve, even though I have food to eat, but doesn't improve the situation. So one day I say, after breakfast, I want to go to town. That's about 4 miles. Yeah? But they realized I was so weak that 4 miles take me all day. By the time I reach the city, it's already dark. Yeah? And then in wartime, at that time, all the houses, no light. You're not allowed to turn on the light. So somehow I entered the main street of the city, and from the background of the sky shadow, I saw one 2-story big building with a cross on top. So I said, oh, that had to be a church. I saw a little flickering light on the second floor. Yeah? That's an oil lamp. Yeah? So I know somebody there. Yeah? Okay? So I knock on the door, waited, knock on the door. Finally, somebody opened the door. He looked at me, I look at him. We know each other. In Bethel Seminary in Shanghai, when I was a little boy, he was a seminary student, and at that time his future wife and my older sister Helen, very good friend in the seminary. He was Pastor Paul Xu. So he can't imagine what he saw. My sled had become stripped, because that sled had been with me for a long time. So he looked me in. All right, I want to help you, but all my luggage already left. Today is Christmas Sunday service. Without knowing, I reached Guiyang on Sunday, Christmas. They have the service, and then they left after that. The wife left after the church service, and he stayed that night. He is going to catch them tomorrow. If I miss that day, then go, I won't find anybody, because all the churches are closed except one. He said, I take you to that church. This church stayed behind because they all want all the Christian, and especially lady, get together to sew the winter coat for the army soldier. So first thing first, they grab one and give it to me. So I have warm clothes now, and they know I didn't eat anything, so they prepare my dinner. And I have a good night's sleep that day. I stayed with this church. They give me a place to live, and then feed me a couple of days. And my diarrhea is still going. Doesn't do any good. So I told the pastor, I said, I think I have to look for help. I said, the best thing for me to do is go to YMCA. So the pastor sent somebody else to take me to YMCA. And who I met in this place, in the YMCA, my old friend in Hong Kong. His father is pastor, my father pastor. They are very good friends for years. And this Martin, he's a year ahead of me in the radio college. And I met him. And he has a group in the YMCA. And they all know each other. At the corner, they occupy that corner together. They have a little charcoal burner, so I joined them. Now, first time I took off my t-shirt. because I itchy day and night, itchy. Why? You know why? Lice. Lice been growing in your hair and growing in the seam of your shirt and pants. So now the warm, everybody do the same thing. Take the thing off, drop it in the fire. You can see this lice burning. So next morning, first thing first, I ask anybody come in contact, I say, do you have any remedy for stopping my diarrhea? So finally somebody said, yes. Go eat those fried steak. He said, you eat that. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, I eat nothing but 油炸鬼, they call 油炸鬼. Okay. And then after a few days, it stopped. And then I said, oh wow, that's great. So now I am on the recovery. Of course, the next thing is, again, no money. So I ask people what to do. They say, oh, you go to that street corner. Every morning, the U.S. Army will have a truck come in. You just climb on the truck, and then the truck will take you to the racetrack. So at that time, the U.S. Army Corps of Supply occupied that racetrack. So I also climb up on this truck. This truck is those dump trucks. So when they get to the gate of this compound, and then they raise the bed like that, everybody slide down the floor. So I slide down the floor, climb back up, and then the people guide you to the reception office and get your fingerprint and get your thing and get your card. And then the sergeant will come in. Okay, look at it. Today we need laborer. 4. Today we need this. How many? They say, you. Okay. After the first day, nobody point a finger at me because I'm too scrawny, cannot do any work. See? So one day, my lucky day, after I got dumped on the ground and then climb up, and the sergeant come up. Today we need 2 houseboys. Everybody raise their hand. No. You and you pointing at me. Now I got my job. So took me to the office, and now I get my ID card as houseboy. So I serve 1 captain, 2 lieutenant, and 4 servicemen. There's 310, and there's 110 extra for me. This compound is about less than a mile on the hillside from the racetrack. Okay, this is a service of supply. They have a big warehouse there to supply all the communication equipment. So the different department they come to this office to sign up for certain thing to take them, or anything repaired, they just return here and pick up something else. So I was houseboy there, and I learned something because this lieutenant, he's a photographer. So they go take all kind of photograph and come back nighttime to develop. So I stay in the dark room to help him develop things. This all the picture. So I learned photography and developing. When I was houseboy, the GI, you anybody in U.S.? I said, yeah, my brother is there. He said, here, you can write a letter to those Army Post Office. You have a form, very flimsy because they want to inspect anything. So I took one, I write it. I don't remember exactly the street. It's just say Chicago or something, and there's a Chinese Christian church, something like that. I remember the street, Wentworth. So then my brother got it during the wartime, but he had no way to communicate with me, and no way to know what father's doing in Hong Kong either. After a few months, they had to relocate. Apparently, they know what's going on, but they knowing the war is kind of winding down. And before they left, the sergeant was real nice. He said, "Well, we can't take you with us." I said, "What can I do?" I said, "Well, find me another job." He said, "What can you do?" I said, I can do a lot of things." And he said, "Let me talk to the motor pool." And then this big Sergeant Mac, Big Mac, and tall Irish guy, and then he looked at me and said, "What can you do?" I said, "Well, I can monkey around with anything you give me." "Well, your English not bad. Well, I will give you a mechanic job first." So I was signed as mechanic. And then basically is try to translate the English order to the Chinese mechanic. Because they hire a lot of Chinese mechanic to help out. And among the Chinese mechanic, they also have problems because some from the south, which is Cantonese, some from the north, Mandarin, and some other way, they can't even talk to each other as well. So I was among them, help them as well as translate the order, what this car need to be taken care of. So, and then after they fix it, and I sit with the sergeant, go to a test run. So all day long, that's my job. It's very good. I enjoy that. In the compound, main compound, the so-called the horse track, race track, they have loudspeaker system on the high pole, and first time I listened to Sinatra singing, and then one day all of a sudden they announced the war's over. Oh, that was, well, my feeling was mixed. I was enjoying myself, don't want to feel like going home. But another thing is, I want to go home, but no way to go home. No transportation. You can't go by bus, you can go by, there's no plane or no nothing. By the end of August, and we already closed down everything. And I go back to the town and stay with the church and with my friend from, I know in Hong Kong. And then I stayed with him for a while. And then what happened is I have to find a job myself. So fortunately, the church reestablished the church as well as reestablished the school in the village. So now I got a job as teacher, third grade. Well, when you're a teacher in the third grade, you teach anything that involves in third grade. So everything that third grade want to be taught, you teach them. So now I got that job. And then also by that time, my sister Pearl, she came with me with a Bethel, but then she continued to further north to their orphanage. They have an orphanage up in Bijie. And then now she was in college, so she applied, she got the whatever funding to enter the medical school. But then after a little while, the fund went out, so she also looking for a job. So I asked the school, how about hire her too? So we both teaching in the same school for a whole year until the highway all reconstructed. So after that, that's how we decided to come back to Hong Kong. So we get on the bus and we follow the highway all the way to Canton. And then from Canton, the railroad is all bombed out too. So we had to get on the boat back to Hong Kong. My sister and I crossed the harbor to the Kowloon side, and then get on the rickshaw, try to look for my parents' house, the apartment. And sure enough, by the time we pull in the corner, and I look up, Father was on the top floor, looking down, saw me. He'd been up there ever since we left. Hopeful someday he will see us again. So after we reunited for a short time, and then always the problem is money, okay? Because he's already retired pastor. When you say retired pastor, there's no retired package in China, no such thing in those days. So he has to survive on something else. So by helping different churches, when churches, they have no pastor, but every communion they will ask him to go there for speaking and perform the communion service. So therefore, we always looking outward to look for money. So since my background has radio, so I got a job in the Lucky Radio store in Kowloon. So that's my job, repairing. And then one time the boss was nice to me, wanted to test me on my sales, to promote me as a salesperson. So I asked the pastor, and the pastor come, I say, there's a new radio, it's very good, you can buy one from the store, I can talk you down to cheap. So the boss said, oh, you can sell it for this price, and then you can pocket the other one. But I was too honest, I told him what exactly the cost is, so I have no commission. So after that, my boss said, you're not qualified. That's my first sales job. After returning to Hong Kong for a while, I got a letter from the Shanghai Christian Broadcasting Station, asked me to help. So I went up there and to be an announcer and engineer up there to take care of the station. And after a few months, and I want to go to the music conservatory in Nanking to continue my love for music, singing. So I went there and entered as a non-regular student, just paid for the certain fee and stay there, listen to the class, and then I have my voice teacher. And that until I ran out of money. And then I found a job in the Wingley Chemical Manufacturer and get my job as a telephone engineer again. And it was great because my position as engineer now, I have companies supply housing, beautiful compound housing, and we, including meal and everything. And we have our own barber shop, our own school, and everything. So I liked the job, and all of a sudden, my brother told me, you better leave, because the problem caused by the communists in Peking, the situation is dangerous. And my father also urged me, so I listened to both of them, and I went back to Hong Kong and prepare for coming over. All the Chinese going to, or anybody go to the US, have to go through medical. And they found out I have TB. And then 6 months later, I apply again and I take another picture, and still no. And then by almost a year, and I take another picture and then apply again. Then the doctor look at it. Yeah, this is already what they call it, stabilized. There's no new scar whatsoever. So they say, oh, he probably healed a long time ago. So now I got the permission. So finally I got the scholarship to come to Pepperdine. Now this scholarship is very special. At that time, my brother was at that time he was in Los Angeles as a pastor, and then Dr. Tyler of Pepperdine he invited my brothers to speak in the Rotary Club, and my brother was talking about this international student exchange idea toward world peace. So he thought that was a great idea. So the following year, the Rotary International, so Dr. Tyler of Pepperdine gave the same speech, and it was overwhelming received by the Rotary Club, and then appoint him as the chairman of this international student exchange idea. Now, that scholarship only for 1 year. So after 1 year, what happened? God planned everything. When the Qing dynasty lost the Opium War, there was 1 million ounces of silver go to U.S. And U.S. at that time decided to take that out and send it back to China for Chinese students. At that time, what happened to China? Communists took over. China moved to Taiwan. Now, which China give the money to? So the Congress passed, no, don't give it to Chiang Kai-shek or Formosa or Mao Zedong in mainland China. He said, give it to all the Chinese students studying in the United States. So I applied it. I got full scholarship, including room and board and everything. That's how I finished my college. The first wedding I went to is Henry Chu and Jean's wedding. And my brother, being a pastor, and officiated the marriage. So I was invited to the wedding. And then I sitting there watch. Here comes a bridesmaid, beautiful. I asked my sister-in-law sitting next to me, and I said, who's that girl? That's Ida Chu, is Henry's sister.
Send me right out of this world. You send me. You give me that kick I never knew.
And then we got married 1953, June the 2nd. That is the same day England crowned their Queen Elizabeth, and I crowned my Queen Ida. After 54 years, this is our 54th anniversary. Happy anniversary! Yeah?
Satisfied and sorry I told you. Right out of this world, but darling, there's one thing I hope you never do. Don't ever send me away from you.
I think God particularly take care of me in the first place, because that lead me to meet all kind of people that can give me a hand the church as well as in the workplace. Like Reverend G take me all the way to Isan. That's the first thing first. And then from different places, I always go to church. Every place I go to church. Other than I have to give credit or give thanks to Bethel Mission, because a lot of places I go, I just go into Bethel school or church or anywhere, I become part of them. They will accept me anywhere I go to them, because like I was a Bethel boy. Our family whole life actually related to Bethel Mission of China. That's a title. But they have church, they have school, they have seminary, they have hospital, all kind of things.
When people shout, hey there, come out of that cloud, I just want to stay there, satisfied and sorry I thought you sent me right out of this world. But darling, there's one thing I hope you never do. Don't ever send me away from